Picture this, I'm just a lonely Lillian looking for Ma Yang. But not really. I was on an off period with my ex-boyfriend after one of his mini bitchy aggressive tantrums and breakup threats where he meant it, but most likely one of us would bite the bullet and reach out to try again. Him, when he realized no one else would put up with his shit, and me when I was lonely/bored/emo. My longtime friend had just got divorced and lost her house. She was looking to move on, or blow off steam, whatever the term is for a girl that wants to get laid and meet men, because she'd been trapped in some crap for 12 years and had to raise 3 kids in the midst of it. She and I were extremely close in school, the type of friends who'd spend all weekend together and call each other on weeknights to watch a TV soap and only talk in the ad breaks. The kind who would go shopping and buy exactly the same thing. Once we were in a department store, and it was when G-strings came into fashion. Yeah, bruh, we old. We bought a teen magazine, a crunchy bar, a Coke, and a black satin G-string each. I put all my stuff on the conveyor first and she was embarrassed to buy the G-string. She was talking to herself, maybe they'll think it's yours, and I was like, there are 2 piles of the exact same thing, so probably not. We would sing and harmonize, order pizza and watch movies a lot. At the end of school we drifted into other circles and lifestyles, and I hadn't seen her for years aside from an appearance at one of my birthdays once we'd found each other on social media. Me being roped into a solidarity stint with her on a dating site was also us rebonding and catching up on the bullshit we should have done together years prior. This time around we'd be in her, parked, car outside my house downing cheap whiskey from a bottle and laughing about how this was what we should have been doing over a decade ago. I missed out on getting changed into smoking outfits and coming out of the room to get the other's opinion until then. We took cool pics in full-length mirrors to post to our dating profiles and got Macca's nuggies at 3:30 a.m. with faded makeup and giggling about those boys we thought were the hottest thing we'd ever seen, but were 16 at the time, unco, unable to grow facial hair and had dim puberty pimples. I missed out on funny nightclub selfies with a BFF as we moved into adulthood, and also talking about all the things you don't discuss with your male BFFs. Hanging out with her then was one of the main times I began to grasp why women have girlfriends and hang out with them doing stuff that was the same, but also different, from what you do when with the boys. I talked to a few guys online, but those conversations went nowhere. There were a few frontrunners, but the conversations dried up. My friend, however, was on a roll. She had a date most nights of the week, but I'd try to make her go to the spider web, for safety. The spider web is a place that's called something else, but has a ridiculous amount of CCTV cameras which I thought my friend should be seen on, considering she was meeting strangers and taking car rides etc. with them and disappearing into the car park etc. I knew I wouldn't get her on the safety angle, so I made it into a joke and started calling the place a spider web is in. Said the spider to the fly kind of thing, you're luring these men. Smile. I would sit in front of flashing machines wanting my money, and random people would pass while I stared into space for a few hours when she met up with these guys and went elsewhere or hung out with them in nearby clubs. I was the driver, so I couldn't drink more than a glass of wine while I waited for her return and to hear about her latest escapade. Then we'd crash at my house and she'd stumble to her car early the next morning, hair a bird's nest, shoes in her hand, and still wearing a dress that was way too short for 7 a.m. If it sounds like this is crazy, it was, but it was also a lot of fun. After a night where she'd said she'd make her own way back and to drive her car home, she'd appear at my door. I'd open my front door, then she'd say nothing and shove me out of the way to run to the bathroom because she had to pee. She'd have crazy stories, but she also had not so good things to say about the men she'd met. I know the saying is that you have to kiss a lot of frogs to get a prince, but we were in the most moldy, sludgy, toxic waste swamp and kissing a whole bunch of disfigured toads. TLDR, getting some practice in for a future memoir. If you like these posts about chapters from my life, let me know. I plan to post them every now and then because writing is fun and it feels good to tell parts of my story. Sign up for the eventual newsletter at everedeanauthor.com.